Alright, today we're going to deep dive into the ZOAN type of devil fruits, specifically focusing on the mysteries surrounding the human fruit. In the latest episode, 1044, the conversation between the five elders suggested something that left many of us absolutely stunned. From that conversation, it became clear that the ZOAN type devil fruits carry their own will, a revelation that's truly mind-blowing. The discovery brings up the possibility that human fruit mythical type Nika might be another name for the gum fruit that Luffy consumed. So today we're going to expand the conversation to cover the ZOAN type as a whole, focusing on the will residing in the devil fruits, and even touching upon Chopper's abilities. If you enjoy the content in the video we're about to show, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have other theories or insights, don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Just a heads up, this video contains spoilers up to the most recent episodes, so proceed with caution. Now, let's get this show on the road. First off, let's take a look at what we know about the will residing in the ZOAN type devil fruits and the conditions for their transmission. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's been confirmed that the ZOAN type fruits do carry a will. And it is speculated that the human fruit mythical type Nika had a will of its own, allowing it to escape from the government, which is pretty wild, isn't it? This leads us to ponder whether the same could be said for the other ZOAN type fruits that have appeared so far. In other words, there's a theory that the ZOAN type fruits that have been passed down through generations might exist separately, each having its own entity. Alright guys, let's dive right in and discuss the remarkable abilities of two ZOAN type devil fruit users who made their appearance in Alabasta, Chaka, and Pell. These guys were part of the royal army of the Alabasta Kingdom, renowned as guardians who protected the nation. Now, Chaka wielded the power of the dog fruit, Jackal Modal, while Pell had the abilities of the bird fruit, Falcon Modal. During the showdown in the Alabasta arc, Chaka played a critical role by holding off Crocodile, buying us some precious time. Pell, on the other hand, showcased his invaluable flying abilities by transporting Luffy from Rain Base to Alabama. But that's not all. Remember the shocking twist where Pell carried a bomb high into the sky, sacrificing himself to prevent an explosion in the square? Many readers must have been astonished, thinking Pell had died in that explosion. But, lo and behold, the guy made a stunning comeback, alive and kicking. Now, the fascinating aspect here was the presence of two statues in the Alabama Palace, resembling a jackal and a falcon, which seemed to be connected to the self-proclamation Pell made as the guardian deity Falcon of Alabasta before the statue crumbled, hinting at a deeper connection. This gave rise to long-standing speculation that these powers have been handed down through generations in Alabasta. Considering the recent developments, it seems we can't help but confirm this theory, don't you think? Could it be that they were born in Alabasta and fought for the land they loved? If so, the fact that these abilities have been continuously passed down is quite fascinating, right? Because this implies that the devil fruits might have chosen to reincarnate in Alabasta by their own will. Now, let's shift our focus and look at an example from Wano country. Take for instance the creature that Yamato consumed, the dog fruit, mythical type Modal, Okuchi no Makami, said to embody the power of Wano country's protective deity. This implies a lineage of abilities being passed down through generations in Wano country, right? The term Makami refers to a mythical large-mouthed wolf, an extinct species in Japan, now revered as a deity. Featured in the Nihon Shoki, it is believed to have led the army of the Emperor Jinmu. During the Edo period, it was widely acknowledged as a deity warding off evil spirits. The deep connection with Yamato. Oh man, hats off to Oda-sensei, always connecting the dots brilliantly. The notion of a protective deity being passed down in Japan aligns perfectly with what's happening in Wano country, don't you think? Yamato utilizing this power to save Wano country adds a deep layer of significance to the story. So, in the context of abilities stemming from specific regions, it seems there are similarities between Alabasta and Wano country, wouldn't you agree? And next, we have Smiley, who appeared in the Punk Hazard arc. Caesar had turned the harmful substance produced from an experiment he conducted earlier into a user by feeding it a ZOAN type devil fruit. This turned out to be a Smiley who ate the Sala Sala fruit modal axolotl. In the storyline and the Vivra card, it is referred to as gelatinous toxic gas. Basically, it was a gas that had consumed a devil fruit. In chapter 676 of volume 68, this Smiley evolved into a more toxic gas weapon called Shinokuni. During this process, Smiley was fed a candy that explodes upon ingestion by Caesar as a part of his plan, and it ended up dying after turning it into Shinokuni. At that time, Caesar shouted at Smiley saying, "Let's meet again!" In that moment, there was a meaningful depiction of an apple near Smiley transforming into a devil fruit. Let's think about this transformation as indicating that the ZOAN-type devil fruit had a will of its own. Perhaps, following a master-servant relationship, it was able to reincarnate its abilities at a nearby location, desiring to return to its master after Smiley's death. And it seems plausible that Caesar was aware of this power of will possessed by the ZOAN-type devil fruit. Considering the examples from Alabasta, Wano Country, and Punk Hazard, it seems increasingly likely that the devil fruits choose their reincarnation sites. The probability of there being more such cases has significantly heightened. In chapter 433 of volume 45, there's a scene in the Water 7 arc where Luffy, Kobe, and Helmeppo are conversing. Beginning with the topic of sea prism stones, Kobe states, "Behind such revolutionary technology, there is always the military scientist Dr. Vegapunk. He is amazing." Helmeppo also commented, "Straw Hat, the devil fruit you ate, understanding the conditions for transmitting those powers, and the new technology of making objects eat the devil fruit are major accomplishments of his recent works." So, let's assume that Vegapunk first discovered the ability of the will residing in the ZOAN-type devil fruit, and developed technology to grant this ability to inanimate objects and the technique to reincarnate it back into devil fruit. Now, let's recall the instances where objects have consumed the devil fruit. For instance, the lasso created by the ability of the Mut fruit, modal dachshund that Mr. 4 had. The sword possessed by Spandam, the CP9 chief, which had the abilities of the Elif fruit, named Funkfried. Initially, these were merely objects like a gun or a sword. Since these aren't living beings, they didn't have a will. However, upon being fed the devil fruit, the will of the fruit was reflected, allowing them to move and resemble living creatures. The fact that the ZOAN-type fruits possess a will hints that when the devil fruit was created, the original creature it was based on existed. For instance, for the dog fruit model, Jackal, a jackal which was first transformed into this ability must have existed. If it's Hayabusa Falcon, then a Hayabusa must have existed. This is because, remember the method of manufacturing the artificial devil fruit Smile? This Smile was created by extracting lineage factors from living creatures, mixing it with chemicals, and injecting it into a fruit. Caesar had established this technology, albeit imperfectly, and there were many users of this Smile ability within the beast's pirates. As mentioned, assume that there were lineage factors from the original creatures used in the production of Smile. Similarly, it is natural to think that for the pure ZOAN-type devil fruit, the creatures that served as models for them existed in the past. In Volume 99's SPS, it was written that there is no direct relationship between the pure devil fruit and the artificial devil fruit, but perhaps they share the similarity of having originated from existing creatures in their creation process. If so, let's consider what this means for the human fruit. One thing I want to highlight here is that all of the users of the human fruit, other than Chopper, belong to the mythical beast category. Now, when you hear mythical beast, you'd usually picture creatures that never truly existed, brought to life. For instance, Sengoku's Buddha ability or Onimaru's giant ability are not originally existent creatures. There's a theory that some unique method might have been used to bring such non-existent creatures' abilities to life. That would mean our current theories might not apply anymore, right? But remember, there's the man-made devil fruit based on Kaido's fish fruit, mythical beast model Azure Dragon. That's the very ability Momonosuke consumed, allowing him to transform into a dragon. This man-made devil fruit was developed by Vegapunk using genes extracted from Kaido. So, if there are genetic markers, then the original creature must have existed, right? Meaning, not all mythical beast abilities were based on non-existent creatures. This leads to a big question. Did the Nika model of the human fruit that Luffy consumed once actually exist? And speaking of Luffy, another name that's currently grabbing everyone's attention is, of course, Chopper. He possesses the human fruit ability, but its specific model name hasn't been disclosed yet. Of course, I believe that not all of them necessarily have a model name. But if every ZOAN-type devil fruit is based on an existing creature, and Chopper's human fruit isn't a mythical beast type, the original model for his fruit probably had an individual name. And if that individual plays a significant role in the story, it makes sense why we haven't heard the model name yet. This is where Chopper's transformations come into play. Other ZOAN users typically showcase their transformations reflecting their animal natures. However, Chopper, even with his human abilities, still retains a lot of his reindeer characteristics. He does change, but he's not entirely human. There's still a bit of reindeer Chopper in there. When you consider his monster point, you'll see he becomes gigantic. What if this state is closest to the original creature of the human fruit Chopper consumed? Could it be that giants or ancient giants are the models for his fruit? Now, it's believed that the Straw Hat crew might soon head to Elbaf, the land of giants. Maybe, just maybe, that's where the truth behind Chopper's human fruit will be revealed. To wrap up for today, we've been discussing the ZOAN types, focusing on the enigma of the human fruit. That's all for today. This channel posts summaries, explanations, and ranking videos related to One Piece. If you like One Piece, we would be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thanks for watching till the end. See you in the next video.